Y'all, we're making a new keto bread that's on its way to going viral. Come on! Welcome to Highfalutin Low Carb, the almost weekly web series where we find and test the best low carb recipes this crazy internet has to offer. Today, we're testing a new bread recipe that I think is about to go viral. I'm calling it Victor's Viral Keto Bread. Want to find out why? Stay tuned. All right, guys, keto bread, low carb bread. We've made a lot of different versions over the last 7 years on this channel. Some were great, some were good, some were fair, some were really poor. Everything from memory foam mattress texture to some that doesn't even hold together and falls apart and crumbles, to some that's made out of very expensive, hard to source ingredients that are very difficult to find. So today we're testing out a recipe from a friend of the channel. You probably know him, Victor over at Southern Keto. If you haven't checked out his channel, please do so. I'm going to leave a link to the video that this recipe represents. His video is called The Best Keto Bread Ever, and I'm going to call it Victor's Viral Keto Bread for our purposes today. It's funny that one of our other more popular recipes was from Victoria's Keto Kitchen with her perfected keto flour. So there's a Victor Victoria joke in there somewhere, and I'll just let you work that out. But today we're doing Victor's Viral Keto Bread. He promises to make a wonderful bread that holds together well, makes a great sandwich, toasts well, and is made from ingredients from the grocery store. No hard to find ingredients. And from what I've seen of his demonstration of this, it looks wonderful.
I want it to be able to make a good grilled cheese sandwich, French toast, or anything else you would make with regular bread.
Now, a lot of people have already contacted me by Messenger and by comment on other videos. Wes, have you tried this bread yet? And so today we're going to do that. And as you know, I don't give exact ingredients here. I'm not the creator of this recipe. The people that did create it, in this case, Victor, he deserves the traffic. So I'm going to put a link here on the screen. It's also going to be in the video description below. Please go check out his channel for all the exact ingredients and exact measurements you're going to need for this recipe. Today we're just here to test them, and I'll let you know what I think about this and if I think it's worthy of giving it a shot. So before we begin, I need to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Element. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix that's free of artificial colors and dodgy ingredients. It's formulated for anybody on a mission to restore health through hydration and is perfectly suited for athletes, people who are fasting, and those of us following keto, low carb, whole food, or paleo diets. If you've been watching me on other social media, you know that I have sort of taken up cycling as a lifetime sport for me. The first time I've ever really felt connected to a form of exercise. And so hydration is particularly important for me during that moment, as well as just keto life. You know that you need to increase your salt intake to help your way through those keto flu and the low carb flu that so many people experience. And so it's easy for me to take a 1-stick pack of Element with me on the road when I'm biking. So right now, Element has a fantastic deal for the Highfalutin low carb community. You can get a free Element sample pack when you make any purchase through my link at drinkelement.com/HFLC. That's drinklmnt.com/HFLC. The Element sample pack includes 1 packet of every flavor, which is perfect for anybody that's interested in trying all of the flavors, or if you want to introduce a friend to Element. This offer can be claimed by first-time and returning Element customers, but it is only available through my link in the description below at drinkelement.com/HFLC. So thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video. Guys, if you want to support me, go check out what all the fuss is about. See why so many people, so many athletes, so many Olympians, and so many keto followers enjoy Element. All right? All right, so the dry ingredients start with a possibly controversial ingredient. I don't really think so, but it is panko, pork panko, crushed pork rinds. I'm just using a bag of chicharrones. You're going to need about 8 to 10 ounces of this. Victor in his video uses 4 2¼ ounce bags. I found 2 4-ounce bags. So, but you need 4 cups of crushed pork rinds. I just run mine through a food processor really quickly. If you don't have a food processor or don't want to use one, you can just put it in a Ziploc or a zip top bag and bang on it really good with a spoon or a rolling pin. I was about to say a pin cushion. A rolling pin. You just want a fine textured crumb like this. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm concerned about this recipe turning out because, as you know, and as you see if you watch his channel at all, I do not have the yellow bowl. Dun, dun, dun. It's an inside joke on his channel, but he has a yellow mixing bowl, and I do not. So we're making it in clear glass. So if this doesn't turn out today, I'm blaming the bowl, the color of the bowl. So to our breadcrumbs, we're going to add just a couple of ingredients and get those mixed together. The first of those is going to be psyllium husk. This is psyllium husk powder. Easy to find. It's in the most grocery stores. If you can't find it in the baking aisle with some of the exotic flours, look over in the health goods section near the fiber products like Metamucil. Obviously, you want unflavored. To this, we're going to add quite a bit of baking powder. He uses baking powder and baking soda in this recipe because we've got to get some lift in there for sure. And so, as I said, that was baking powder. This is baking soda, cream of tartar, and salt. So again, if you want to know exactly how much he's putting in here, just click on that link down below. Or if you can't, if you're on your watching this on a television, you can't click on a link, just search YouTube for Southern Keto bread, and it'll be the first link that comes up, and it's called the best keto bread ever. So I'm just going to give this a good mix so that all of our powdered ingredients, the psyllium, the baking powder, the baking soda, and the cream of tartar and salt are all incorporated into these crushed pork rinds. So we're going to put this to the side, and we're going to now turn our attention to the wet ingredients. Okay, so before we tackle the wet ingredients, I'm going to let you know that I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and the rack is on the center oven rack. And now I've got a 9 by 5 inch baking loaf pan, and I'm going to line that with parchment paper. Normally I would probably cut this into what bakers refer to as a sling to pull it out of there and cut the edges and all of that, but I'm going to do what Victor did in his video. You just sort of give this a little wad up so that it kind of holds its shape, and then you just sort of get this to fit in there the best you can. Apparently, it doesn't need to be an exact science. As he said, he's not building an airplane. He's making a loaf of bread, and his came out beautifully, so I hope that mine does too. So I'm going to get this just as roughly smooth as I can, and now I'm just going to set this to the side while we take care of one other thing, and that is juicing half a lemon. We need about a tablespoon of lemon juice, so depending on the size of your lemon, let's see if I can even get it into my lemon juicer here. Okay, so let's take care of the wet ingredients, and the most important wet ingredient, I guess you could say, is going to be a dozen eggs. You need 12 whole eggs, which we have here. Almost don't need a yellow bowl for this because it's going to be yellow anyway. So you just give these a quick mix and make sure that all these are broken up, and we have a basis to begin with from here. Now to this, we're going to add a couple of things, mostly dairy items. The first of those is melted butter. Now, he gives two different ingredients. He said you can either use 1 stick of butter or 2. It seems that the 1 stick of butter was more useful for if you want to use the bread as like a dry sandwich bread to make cold sandwiches or whatever, you know, with. And then if you're going to use it for things like grilled cheese and Reubens, things that you might want to grill and make them really crispy and toasty and buttery, he uses 2 sticks of butter. Now, I'm going to go with the 1 stick because I think for me, most often, I'm generally going to make a cold sandwich, you know. And then if I ever wanted to make a grilled cheese or a Reuben or something like that, then I would just add butter, a little bit of butter to the pan. I think it's more versatile this way, but that's why we're here to test it. We're going to find out. So to this, to our eggs, we're going to add in our tablespoon of lemon juice. I just want to make sure I get a whole tablespoon. In that goes. And then also, get out of the way, our melted butter. Let's add that in next. This is a whole stick of melted butter. You don't want it too hot. I melt mine in the microwave, and you want to give it a chance to cool down because you're not trying to scramble these eggs. You don't want to temper them. You're not making a custard. You need it not to seize up on you. And then this is a little bit of sour cream. If you want to know how much sour cream, you know what to do. Go to his link, visit his YouTube channel for exact measurements. He also has a written recipe with all the ingredients written right in the video description of his video. And to this, lastly, we're going to add in some softened cream cheese. This is a 8-ounce package of cream cheese, I'll tell you, as you can see. And this has been sitting on, it needs to be well softened. It's been sitting on my patio railing in the hot California sun because it's warm today. And so that's nice and soft. You can use a hand, do this by hand if you feel the need for a workout, but I'm going to use, like he did, a hand mixer, and we're just going to make sure this is all incorporated. You're not trying to, I don't believe he didn't try to build any air into this. He's just getting it mixed up well. So I'm going to do that now and speed this up. Okay, so after a little bit of mixing, we've got a nice homogenized mixture of our eggs and dairy. I think you're just trying to break up that cream cheese is basically the goal here, and those eggs. So now we're going to start adding in small amounts our dry ingredients, and he switches, drop your whisk and go to something with a sturdy handle. And as you know, pork rinds are like super, I don't know what the word is, hydroscopic. They suck up water a lot. They are very absorbent and very thirsty. And you're going to start to feel this, he says, as you start to mix this. So choose an appropriate utensil. So I'm just going to keep doing this until we get our batter. Okay, so this is about the texture I saw his batter. It's sort of a mixture between a batter and a dough. It does look scoopable in his video, which I think we have here. So this is going to go into our parchment-lined baking sheet. He doesn't spray it with oil. I guess there's enough fat in there. He said you can, but he doesn't, so I'm not going to. And then this is going to cook in a preheated oven. Now, you don't want to flatten this out when you get this in here, but you do have to smooth the top down. Now, Victor said he's been working on this for over a year, this recipe, and perfecting it, and it's gotten really, really, really good reviews, and clearly enough people are curious about it to come start asking me what I thought about it. Now, one of his tips is that it is kind of difficult to know when this is ready. So it's going to take, quote, about an hour, but you're going to start checking it about 50 minutes, and it could take up to 70 minutes. I think also that will depend on whether you used one stick of butter or two. The point is you need it to be, you're going to stick a skewer in, and it needs to come out, of course, clean, but it also doesn't need to have any moisture. You're trying to get all the moisture baked out of this. The easiest way, apparently, he said, to tell for that, and he puts it in his written recipe, and I think somebody in his comments even kind of turned him on to this. It needs to temp out at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit while you're baking. So getting the internal temperature of the bread to 200, make sure that the psyllium husk has released all of the moisture that it can. So that's what we're going to go by. I'm just going to use a quick thermometer at about 50 minutes, start testing it with both a Q-tip, not a Q-tip, a toothpick, and a, please don't put a Q-tip in your bread, a toothpick and the thermometer. So this is going to go in. He trimmed his edges, but well, we're going to do like Victor said to do. You're going to use this as a sling to take it out, but you don't. I've never really had any trouble with baking extra paper. It's never at 350 degrees. It's not in. You're in no fear of it smoking or catching fire or anything like that. But we're going to play by the rules because he said to cut it off, but not too short because, again, that's how you're going to get it out of here. So this is going to go in for 350 to 350 degrees for about 50 to 70 minutes or until it is golden brown on top and the moisture is gone and it temps out at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, you're going to turn the oven off, prop the door open, and leave the bread in the oven untouched for 30 minutes, okay, with the door propped open. Then you're going to take it out and let it cool for about 10 minutes. Use the sling that you have here to lift it out of the pan and then put that on a cooling rack and let it cool completely before you try to cut it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to bake this and then I'm going to come back here and we're going to see if this is as good as everybody says it is and what I think about it and find out why it's quickly going viral. All right? I'll meet you right back here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so we are back and looky what we have here. It looks great. A little dark on top. I could have used, he said if it gets a little too dark or too brown, you might want to put some foil over it the last few minutes. But it's been several hours, so I've been out for the evening. I've come back. This is fully cooled. It took a full 70 minutes. I tested it at 50 minutes, was nowhere near 200 degrees, as he said. Toothpick still came out fairly moist. I just kept going until 70 minutes and I did leave it in with the oven off for 30 minutes while it cooled and then I took it out and it's just been waiting here on the counter and I'm going to tell you it is heavy. It is heavy, but it's holding up well. It's a beautiful shape. I mean, that's a pretty loaf of bread. Okay, so the question is, what does it taste like? I know a lot of you are terrified of probably the pork rinds, and I understand that. You cannot judge pork rind flavor based off of the smell from the bag because pork rinds stink. So let's cut one of these ends off here. It cuts great. I can tell you, I thought it would be a lot oilier than this, and it is dense. But again, remember, this is cooled for probably 4 hours. It's been sitting out. Now, it has a little bit of a wet texture, but it's not bad. There is a slight, I can tell you a slight, I don't know if you can see it on camera here, very slight purple hue, and I know that that is from my brand of psyllium husk powder. The brand that I use for some reason gives things a little bit of a purple hue, but it doesn't affect the taste. But it's actually really not as noticeable here as I thought it would be. So I'm curious of what this tastes like, but what does it feel like? It's kind of you can hear a little bit of moisture, but not bad. It's holding together well. I can see where this would toast very well. Look at, I'm putting considerable pressure on that to tear apart. And there's no xanthan gum or anything like that in here. It doesn't have a texture of memory foam mattress at all. So, doesn't really smell like pork rinds. It does have a very savory flavor. It's not meaty, but it is savory. So this is just out of the cooled out of the oven. I haven't toasted it or any of that because you've seen what it can do when it toasts and it looks great. What does it taste like? Here goes. That's good. Okay, guys, so I am going to say this is probably in my top 2, maybe 3 homemade keto breads that I've made. It is dense. It is quite dense. It feels a little bit like soul bread. If you remember soul bread, we've made that a few times. There's not a really eggy flavor here, and I like that unlike soul bread, it doesn't have the almond flavor grittiness, and it really holds together quite well. Now, I think that I probably could have even cooked this even further. I would have put a little foil on the top and gotten a little bit more of the moisture out of this to just lighten it up a little bit. But I can tell you now, just the way this feels, this is going to go great. This is going to excel in recooked methods like a Reuben, a grilled cheese, toasted with a little bit of heating this up is going to change it dramatically. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It's easy to make. It doesn't have nut flours in it. It is made from ingredients that are easy to get from the grocery store that aren't terribly expensive. Eggs and pork rinds aren't that expensive, at least not compared to some of the other specialty flours that are called for and some other things. So Victor's Viral Keto Bread, yeah, definitely giving it a thumbs up. So thank you, Victor, for making this, letting us all know about it. Thank you for those who let me know about it. Be sure, please, to check out his link below at his YouTube channel here. He calls it the best keto bread ever, and I'm gonna probably second that here in my kitchen as well. And I can't wait to do some more work with this as over the next coming week. I'll show you some of the things that I've probably made with it. So follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, because I do little things a little more frequently and a little more freely there. We'll probably make a grilled cheese or two, or maybe a Reuben like he did in his video. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I say it every time, these videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating, and looking in the end of that camera as often as I can helps keep me honest. So I appreciate that you guys have come along for the journey. Be sure you hit the like button down below and the thumbs up, so that lets the algorithm know that this is a video they can share with other people. And if you are not a subscriber, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell button down below, and you'll know just as soon as I release a new video. Thank you again to my sponsor, Element, and also thank you again to my Patreon members, my rock stars. Without them, none of this would be possible. You always see their names scroll here on the side. Patreon is like the tip jar for the internet. It lets people like you who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube. You can give $1 or $2 a month just to keep the channel on the air and the train on the tracks. So if you want to see your name start to scroll over here, be sure to go to patreon.com/Highfalutin low carb and sign up over there. All right, guys, I love you very much. I'll see you very soon in the next video. And remember, today is a great day to have a great day. Bye-bye.